you to go to your that is voted on by the attendees. We will have that tabulated by noon tomorrow. So again, if you see something that you think this is wonderful, please go to the app and vote for it. I am excited to hear from Roberto Perino. He is our industrial engineer, and he's also going to be joined by his colleague Michael Durbin, and they're going to be speaking to us about HPP beverage automation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just going to talk about, it's going to be five parts that we're going to split this presentation. First, we're going to talk about Hyperbaric. Second, why automation, why it's relevant right now. HPP automation systems that we do with Hyperbaric, and also the benefits and challenges of implementing automation in food processing. This is our HPP operated business. So first off, we'll talk about Hyperbaric first. So we're basically a global leader in high pressure processing. We've been 20 years in this business. We specialize in high pressure processing equipment, not only in high pressure but also hot static pressing, and also recently started doing uh, hydrogen compressors for energy and mobility. We we're a small company. We have a turnover of close to 58, 60 million, 120 employees around the world. And we have spent over $20 million in research and development over the years. We have several offices. We have our main office is in Burgos, Spain, 2 hours north of Madrid, where we have our headquarters and main operations. We have a commercial office in Miami, Florida. We have a small service office in Mexico, also a commercial delegation in Asia, and also some operations, technical operations in Oceania, in Australia and New Zealand. Uh, First of all, we're going to talk about why automation and why it's relevant. As you know, a lot of things have changed recently worldwide. Of course, we're going to focus more on what's happening in the US. As you know, the pandemic outbreak erased around 1.4 million US manufacturing jobs, and the manufacturers are yet to recover 41% of the jobs lost due to the pandemic. As you can see in that chart, there were pretty much around 820,000 jobs where the industry was able to recover. That's close to 600,000 that are yet to be recovered. They have not returned back to the job. One of the main challenges that companies are facing right now is getting entry level employees in the door. And we're talking about just basic laborers, nothing specialized. And these are probably easy people to get. Right now, a lot of employers that have been surveyed, they've noticed that was taking is 36% harder to hire um, entry level people, putting it through the doors. If that is challenging, it's even harder to get skilled field positions. That's even harder. And we're talking about the general, not the general people, but technical skills that require some training, like welders and companies that may take about a year to get them trained and put them into the job. These are some jobs aren't easy available and they're still hard to get. That chart uh, shows that there's that's a highlight of critical middle skill jobs that are going to fill today, and that's predicted during between 2019 and 2029. One of the main challenges that we face with high pressure processing? Well, it's still a batch and then we'll still a batch and manual process, and it's a post packaging technology. So the product needs to be put into a chamber and then extracted and then put into cardboards and final cases and packaging and all that. How does HPP works for those that are not familiar with it? I'm going to show a quick video while I explain how it works. Let's see if we can just- there we go. So what we have is an operator that put the product in a canister. The canister goes inside a chamber. The chamber goes into what we call pressure position. So the vessel goes in, and then we have two plugs on each end of the vessel, and then we flood the vessel with water at low pressure, which is around 6 bar. Once the vessel is flooded, then we put the plugs right in, and then behind that go two massive wedges. After that, we start pumping more pressure into the chamber. We put more water into the chamber where no more water can fit in, and with that, we start increasing the pressure of the system. We go with the 87,000 psi, which is 6,000 times the pressure that is in the atmosphere, and we do that by hydraulically with a piston. Every time the piston goes back and forth, pulls or pushes water into the system. We reach certain pressure. Most of the applications are 87,000 psi. We hold that pressure for 180 seconds, most typically, or whatever the product requires. And that once the cycle is done, we release the pressure of the plugs, go opposite direction, plugs get out, the vessel comes out, and then onto the product pushes that product that is in the chamber. That's how it works, and it's still a very manual operation. So one of the things that we've done at Hiperbaric is integrating business that helps and does automation for our customers. We offer pretty much tailor-made solutions. Pretty much anything that customer requires, we have the ability to design and develop and design, manufacture, and develop things for our customers. And one of the things that we've done is that we have worked extensively over the years with Evolution Fresh, and they've been champion on allowing us to help automating their whole operation. Mike's going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. Let's talk about the benefits and challenges of automation and HPP operations. Obviously, there are top benefits. One is increasing productivity. You can also reduce labor costs. You obtain consistency because robots are doing automated motions, so you get consistency all the time. You increase operational safety, also address what we spoke earlier, the labor shortages, and also minimize waste because there is no human error. Obviously, those are the benefits, but we also have some challenges. One of the main challenges I would say is the investment, the return on the investment. For companies, not every company can be a candidate for automation. Obviously, the more you use machines or the closer you get to 24-hour operation, the easier it is to get an ROI on your investment. There are also the shortfalls within the company. Functionality as well. Not all the automation is for everybody. There are some limitations that robots have, especially for companies that do towing. They struggle to find something that works for all their products. Also identifying needs, which is tied up with the functionality. You not always can get everything that you need, or no automation works for all cases. So you have to be careful when you do that. And also the lack of support services. This is a new and ongoing industry. So there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of education that needs to be around that. So robots are reliable but also serviceable. And this finishes up my presentation. Now I'm going to reins to my good friend Mike Derrick, who's going to talk about the case study for Evolution Fresh. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Like Roberto said, I'm Michael Durbin. I'm the plant director at Evolution Fresh. Evolution Fresh is a cold pressed juice company where we take raw fruits and vegetables and turn it into delicious blends of juice. And then we use the HPP technology to create a fresh tasting, delicious juice. So he kind of walked the process of what HPP is. I know many of you here probably already know that. But what we've been working on is how do we make this HPP process more sustainable from a labor perspective and from an efficiency perspective. So this has been a project we've been working on over the last several years. We started with making the process more ergonomic for operators. We had a lot of injuries, repetitive motion, lifting, a lot of triple handling, which we wanted to eliminate. So we created some tilting stations that we were able to fill our product into, and then use a forklift to load the product in and out. When we did this, we also added barcodes to the carrier, so it was easier to track the product and our processing parameters that were needed, which is the pre-feeder station there you see. And then we've moved into robotic unloading and pick and place to get the bottles back on the line. So why would we do this? Well, there's many reasons to do this. One is we want to increase our OEE, which we increased about 15% production since we've started this journey. 15 to 20% depends on, SKU mixes and all that fun stuff. But on injuries is a big story. We reduced injuries more than 90%. Previously, an HPP operator, they would lift around 16,000 pounds a day of crates of juice, dumping it into carriers, and that repetitive motion is really hard on your body. And it also might make you not want to come to work because you're sore the next day. So that was a big one. Eliminate this risk of injury. We've also eliminated more than half of the transportation waste. So this triple handling of let's put it in a crate, let's dump the crate out, let's unload the HPP carriers, and there's just a lot of handling there. So by streamlining the process, we fill the carriers, we load them into the HPP, and we empty them all in one motion. So that reduces a lot of time where things are just sitting around. And then labor, we estimate that we've reduced it more than 50%. Like Roberto was saying, it's getting harder and harder to find people that want to do hard jobs that are manual in a cold room. And COVID just added to this totally. It was hard to get people in. We couldn't always count on people being there due to illnesses or different issues surrounding that. So that's kind of why we wanted to move from the manual to the automated process and some of the results. So we have a quick video that's going to kind of highlight the process, and then after that we'll have time for questions. So here you can see operator loading a carrier onto the tilting station where the bottles are loaded in. The only lifting that they have to do is placing the empty carrier there and then placing the lid on it. And then they roll it off. The carts are to move the carriers around the room. And then the forklift is lifting the full carrier so that strain is taken off of the operators. There you can see the barcodes that are being used. The data matrix is being read, and that's storing all of our information, like lot information. It's really great for traceability, so we can track everything that's been processed. And then lastly, you can see here the product being unloaded, dried off, and picked up and placed back on the conveyor. And some of the highlights there: productivity, traceability, labor shortages, many factors that go into why you would want to do this. Reducing our injuries, keeping our employees safe, and reducing waste. A lot of times things fall on the floor, but by doing it automated, helps control all that waste. And I think that's it. So we'll open it up for questions.
Hi, folks, any questions? Any questions? All right, I'm gonna ask the first question. Michael, what's your favorite basketball team?
Favorite basketball team?
Basketball team.
The Bulls.
Oh, he's in Chicago. He knows this. He knows his market. He doesn't get run out of town. All right, Berta, what about you? Favorite basketball team?
Whatever he says.
Whatever he says. And that's what happens with Herm Madrid. He's going to go with the locals. Do you have any questions for these folks?
There's a
Oh,
question.
gosh, I'm so sorry. My apologies.
There are two sizes of carriers. What made you decide to go with the smaller?
Well, we have 420s, so we have 4 of the 900 millimeter carriers. That's what we've been using. It also allows us to move them around more easily than a long carrier.
Any other questions? Gentlemen, if someone wants to come and speak to you, where can they find you?
We are in. So we located at 7341, which is just, you turn again, it's just right behind you guys. So obviously, I'm happy to talk to you. If you have more questions about automation or high pressure, we're happy to talk to you about it. Thank you so much for your time.
Berto, Michael, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Before folks go, if you enjoyed this presentation, I encourage you to go onto your phones to the app. There is a button there that says it was a first survey. This helps